right, you know.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it for the closed session.
We are on.
Okay, it is April 17th, 7 PM. We are in the second floor conference room. We'll call to order the City of Brainerd Personnel and Finance Committee meeting, and we'll start with introductions.
Kevin Stunick, Alderman at Large.
Connie Hillman. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Connie Hillman, City Finance Director.
Jennifer Bergman, City Administrator.
Kara Terry, Ward 1. Chris Schubert, HR Director.
Tim Holmes, Fire Department.
John Davis, Police Department.
Gabe Johnson, Chair of the committee. We have not 8, but 7 items on the agenda tonight. The first of which is to approve the bid for the City Hall generator.
And here comes Sean, just in time.
Perfect.
Whatever.
We denied it.
We're doing generator?
Yep.
Alright. So tonight we have some numbers for a generator. We had the capital from last year, $100,000 budget. It came in around 80.
It's in the 2023 budget.
2023 budget.
Yep.
So Jim's Electric had had the lowest bid, and we're well under budget, and trying to get my bearings. Any questions, anything I can elaborate on?
Okay, does it include the generator?
Yes,
Does it include installation?
yes.
Okay, these are just questions we have to ask nowadays, given the, how
And this
things are built
includes
in
the
the
It's the new game.
Includes the fence, slab, and plumbing.
There you go. Yeah, that's a fun thing.
And the plumbing, we even get a pipe in there.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that street department.
Yep.
Okay, I make a motion to accept the bid for the City Hall generator with all the plumbing and all the stuff.
Now I will second.
We have a motion, we have a second.
And this is to do the 80 kW
Yes.
one. So you notice that there was 2,
Yeah.
Recommended.
and it was recommended to do the 80.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm gonna vote no, which is an absolute waste of money, but it's in the, I understand it was in the budget, and it was approved by the council and everything, but that doesn't mean it's not a waste of money, so I'll be voting no. But all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, aye.
Why would you do that?
Well, I don't think it's necessary. I think the reason we wanted it is because some people dial the wrong number when their power is out or something like that. Doesn't matter, you got your generator, you got your generator. Next up, consider an agreement with the airport for IT support. Sean?
Yep, so this is based off, we had discussions a couple years ago about the airport coming on the network. Then COVID happened, some other things, but in December, their network actually fell apart completely. Physical failures, no backups, blah, blah, blah. So to remediate that, we, the 2 IT staff at the city, helped them out and made the decision to bring them onto our network. And it took a few months to hammer out an agreement through the attorneys, so this came from Langle. And it just outlines an annual cost. Basically, the 7 people at the airport would be about 8% of our network users, so we figured it'd be 8% of the personnel budget of IT. And then any projects that are above and beyond normal operations would be just billed at an hourly rate. And they would pay for all the licensing and hardware that they need for their stuff. So if we've had 7 licenses to our 80 or 90 licenses, they just pay for the extras. So it's just a shared service agreement.
I will make a motion to approve the shared service agreement.
And I'll second it.
Okay, one question, do we have the capacity to handle helping them out?
Yeah.
So long as
sort
stuff
of.
stays up and running for the most part?
Right, yeah. The initial setup, that was all the work is already done. You know, now it's just gonna be in maintenance mode. Only 3 out of the 7 are actually all day, every day office folk. The other 4 are the maintenance folks, so they're not heavy users anyway, so it's really just 3 more users with their day-to-day. Printer doesn't work, can't get my email kind of issues, and it's not gonna be that big of a burden once it's all set up and running.
Did we bill them for the work you already did, or is that just being
We've
nice?
tracked it on our timesheets, and I don't think we've billed them yet, because we're waiting for this.
But we intend to get paid for the time?
Yeah.
It is retroactive to January 1st.
Correct.
Great, and then the agreement can be canceled when you don't have the capacity in the IT department with how much of a notice?
Yeah, 60 or 90.
Days, not years?
Yes, days.
All right,
Gotta be thorough, yep.
okay, I don't have any questions.
Oh, you gotta ask those questions, I
But you
forget.
have to get detailed. Any other questions, comments? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Thanks, Sean.
Thanks, Sean.
Next up is another final payment change order, Public Works Building.
Don't shoot the messenger. So we thought we were presenting the final payment in January 17th.
Yeah, we thought we had a whole building a year ago.
And staff was notified in early March that Norson had sent Widseth a change order requesting in the amount of $39,002 days prior to the January 17th meeting. We don't know why Norson sent it to Widseth, why they did, because they were sending invoices directly to us. Some of the items were approved prior to Jesse's hiring, others were completed in the fall with knowledge of approvals. Some of the items were completed in the existing facility for the heaters and painting and that kind of stuff. And other items were previously approved by council. There were also items that needed to be added to the new building addition. So how we broke down the $39,002 is that Widseth is paying for $4,164. $15,805 would come out of the repairs and maintenance budget. And so then the final payment of the change order is $19,033.
Finally.
This is the final.
Finalist of the final.
When Jesse first showed this to me in
Until
March,
it
I
turns out
went,
they didn't put light switches in.
we did that.
Do we have
We're
light
good.
switches?
We're good light
Has
switches.
anybody gotten there to verify?
I have not. Hopefully they all have covers.
Yeah. I've got some at home, we'll just borrow them.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the final change order, Public Works Maintenance Building.
Second.
And it is getting in so that we can back it into 2022 as well, since it is a 2022 expense. But it's by the hair of our chitty chin chin, it can go back, so.
So this contract to date status, like this final request for payment thing, is
Yeah.
$523,586. Is that what we spent total on?
You know, there could have been, I think Holden had some bills that are not included in that.
Those were outside of the
Yes.
WSN contract, because
Yep.
they didn't have electricity or HVAC or
Correct.
anything in the building. they
We were
wanted to.
doing those separately.
Okay. Can we get a total cost of this building,
We
just an
can.
FYI, total
Yeah.
cost compared to what we thought it was going to be?
You know, I thought it was on the previous one, and I thought it was on this one too.
Because it just got a little out of hand. Well, yeah, if it was on the last one, that's great, but now it just got $19,000 more expensive. So just a recap next time or something.
Okay,
Okay, any other questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion carries. This is the second time we've approved a final payment for this one, Connie. We're not cutting any more checks.
I agree. I didn't want to cut this one if you want to be personally honest with you.
Good on you. Okay, next up, Sourcewell Community Impact Funding. Fire Chief.
Good evening. So Deputy Chief Davis and I have been working on this grant. It's a community impact funding through Sourcewell. What we're looking at doing is requesting funding up to, or in the amount of $50,000 for public safety personnel, mental health, and then also physical health. A portion of the money will be used for what they call a checkup from the neck up, so a mental health check-in for all. We'll focus on the law enforcement staff first, and then if the funding is sufficient, then we will move to the firefighters. And then additionally, requesting some money to pay for some physical fitness equipment. We know that both physical and mental health kind of play on each other, right? If you feel good, your mental health is likely to be a little bit better. And then our hope is with the program, focus on the retention of both law enforcement officers and firefighters, then potentially decrease the workman comp claims associated with mental health issues, or being unconditioned to do the work that both police and fire are being asked to do. So the request is just to adopt a resolution and authorize us to apply for that community impact grant.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. I have a couple of questions.
Yep.
I do too.
And I know police officers and firefighters, cats and dogs, do not get along. I get it. I'm kidding. But if you wanna buy additional fitness equipment for both departments, have you considered, like, since you're across the street from each other, having one
Yep.
workout wellness type facility so we could just, double our impact of having both the firefighters and officers use
Yeah,
equipment?
so the problem with doing that is the fire department doesn't have the size of a facility to have us both there. And with the BCA requirements, we can't all have access to the police department. So there's some
Cats and dogs?
access issues, so we would love to train together. I think it builds a lot of camaraderie and whatnot, but just based on the security of the police department, we can't have free access to go in and out of there, so
Okay.
that's the biggest hurdle.
So asking for 50,000, how did you land on that amount? The reason I'm asking is you had said, we'll let the police department go through first, and if there's enough money left over, then fire department personnel would.
Yeah,
Should we ask for more to ensure that everyone?
so 50,000 is the max
Oh,
on
okay.
this grant. So this grant is different than probably what you're familiar with that we've applied for in the past.
The community innovation or whatever that
Yeah,
was.
so this is that grant, but their process this year is a little bit different where they are taking more applications between $20,000 and $50,000 and then putting them into a lottery and funding them down until they run out of money.
Okay. Thank
So, yeah, so hopefully, and we're waiting for some information back from a couple of providers to see what the cost of that checkup from the neck up would be per person.
Okay, thank you.
Mental health services is big. Do you plan on sourcing that out to somebody then, like Northern Pines or something like that?
Correct, those are the ones we're trying to get some more information on, specific numbers.
Okay, and then,
Another question.
yeah, I've had it.
Could we get some kind of deal if we work with the sheriff's office in Marie Ridgway and, or not?
Yeah, I've been engaged in some discussions, focusing directly on that. To be very blunt as Marie is, kindly but blunt, she doesn't have any room or any more capacity to bring any other departments on. She's maxed out, so that was kind of one of our first thoughts. But, yeah, it was an instant no-go, so. So, yeah, and just to elaborate a little bit, so I did reach out to Northern Pines. I've engaged in conversations with them. Northern Pines, their executive director, a couple other administrators is what I would say seemed very excited during these conversations to really work with us, and they took some ideas back and they're looking at proposals right now, and probably about the beginning of May, getting back with some more specifics, but they seemed real enthusiastic about the idea and, what that could look like.
So yes, I have thoughts and would just want to make sure that you're getting what you need from whichever provider you choose to get the service from.
Sure.
And maybe we can come to you too and just vet the information that we get
Yeah, I would
in hope
pull
that we can.
Tammy and Nathan
Yeah.
and, other folks in, but sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, yeah, that was our first thought, is to try to collaborate with the sheriff's office or the county and.
She has really awesome dogs, but yeah.
Yeah, and actually, I asked the Sheriff's Office administration to be part of these initial conversations. And they were there just for, their feedback, their perspective, since they've already kind of been through this
Yep. That's
steps that we're starting to take, so.
cool.
Yeah, so they were a good help.
Okay, and then to both of you guys, did you watch the New York Police against the New York Fire hockey match yesterday?
I didn't watch it, no.
Firefighters won, and there was a fight, and the firefighter knocked out the police officer. So can we get a charity? Can we get a charity hockey game going?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Notify the league, Chris. Stop that.
Well, that's part of the fitness program. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, all in favor of applying for the grant, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you very
Chief.
much.
Okay, next up is retirement of Marvin Bush.
Good
Chris?
evening. Street Maintenance 3, Marvin Bush has submitted his retirement letter. Marvin's retirement will be effective May 6th, And staff is recommending that we accept Marvin's retirement with regret and to authorize his severance pay. Just to give you a little bit more background about the position, with his retirement and in discussing our options and needs, staff feel that the street division would benefit from an actual diesel mechanic who could perform more maintenance and repairs on our equipment. Currently, there are repairs that are being outsourced that a certified mechanic may be able to perform in-house. So we have attached a job description for an actual mechanic with those changes, how that would be done. Staff is also recommending to continue to utilize the current wage grade for the maintenance 3 position for this, so there wouldn't be any change as far as wages that would be paid. And then just to let you know that Flaherty and Hood is aware that we're modifying the position, and we're asked them to review this as part of the classification and compensation study. Gabe, you look confused.
Yeah,
Or
yeah, I
concerned.
didn't read this part of the packet before, so it's new to me. So Marvin is our mechanic,
He is.
the mechanic position we created.
Couple
years ago.
Right, he's mechanically inclined. So he's got a farming background, so he knows how to, fiddle with things and can change oil and do stuff like that.
Yeah.
But at this point, we're looking at maybe there should be a little bit more of someone that's an actual mechanic. As an example, there was a water pump that went out, a while ago. Marvin couldn't diagnose that. And so then we had to have someone diagnose it, then we had to have someone fix it. Could an actual mechanic do that? Possibly.
Would have helped if we built a building without water in it.
Yeah. So that's what staff is thinking, that would be best for our department to maintain our own equipment if we can as much as possible. Granted, there will still be some repairs that'll have to go out, but hopefully this reduces it a little.
Okay, and then like you said, you're expecting to stay maintenance 3 and be in that same pay range, but just have a little bit more qualifications in your job description.
Ready?
Yep.
I would make a motion to accept the retirement of street maintenance 3 Marvin Bush with regret and authorize mechanic hiring process.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Good motion, 2 birds, 1 stone. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Next up is ratify a promotion to a deputy police chief. Deputy chief, what's your title? Deputy chief until May 2nd.
Well, it was police
Don't ask
chief
the
in the
Brainerd
paper.
dispatch.
I know.
I thought Mike left early.
Right?
You're promoted already.
Yeah, I guess so. No, this one I'm excited about. So as you know, on March 20th, council authorized staff to conduct the internal promotional process to fill my current position, which will be vacated on June 3rd. That internal job posting process was recently conducted. We had 6 internal applicants, all completed the process. And as a result, staff's recommending that Tony Rundy be promoted to Deputy Police Chief effective June 3rd. Tony has accepted a conditional job offer to be placed on step 3 of the Deputy Police Chief wage grid, which is $45.55 an hour. And this placement is pursuant to the employee policy manual, which is the lowest step, which was at least a 3% increase over his current wage. So staff is recommending a motion to ratify promotion of Tony Rundy to Deputy Police Chief effective June 3rd. And that Mr. Rundy be placed on step 3 of the Deputy Chief wage grid at $45.55 per hour.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are inspectors easier? I wouldn't say easier. Do you expect to be able to backfill his position pretty easily?
Yeah, I think we have an individual right now that used to be an investigator, has obviously all the skills and the experience, and if need be, willing to roll into that position maybe for a temporary period of time, help us get through some of this transition, and then see if if that individual continues to be a good fit in there, maybe stays permanently, or maybe just help us through the transition till we find, that maybe a more definitive long-term person, so.
Okay, any other questions, discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Deputy Chief.
Chief.
All right, next up is to consider amending the ARPA budget for some downtown Christmas lights.
Yep, so the holiday decorations have come to the end of their useful life. At the workshop that the city council held to discuss ARPA funds, one of the suggestions was to use ARPA funds for holiday decorations. We did convene a group that included Mary Devine Johnson, Mike England, Bruce Buxton, Brenda Billman-Arndt, and the mayor, and talked about what we should do downtown. The group discussed where the decorations should go, what limits we should have, should we expand it more? And if you can go, Connie, to that map. After our discussion, the thought was we would just replace what's currently there. That would be 45 wreaths on the light poles. You'll see those all in green dots with red circles. 29 of them have power, 16 do not. Then we would install 6 swags, 4 on Laurel and then 2 on 7th. And then those swags would be attached with airport cable that would go from one building to the other. The recommendation was to have Ron Intertech do structural engineering to perform load tests to make sure that that could be supported. And then Attorney Langle will draft an agreement that we will enter into with property owners so that we're legit and legal to anchor into their building. BPU and Public Works would do the installation, parks probably primarily. So also, Connie, if you can go to the spreadsheet, I included a summary of the costs, kind of identified them by what I was calling hard costs, but it's more goods we're gonna purchase as well as services. That's $47,278. And then the kind of the in-kind or the cost that we would incur as staff, and that's for the electric, the mounting, and the installation. But we really wanted to provide a true cost of what it would be to install and purchase those decorations. Estimate was $57,401. The discussion was that we would use ARPA funds, and then also BPU said that they would use some of their SIP funds to cover half of that as well. So the ARPA funds would be $28,701 and $28,700 in SIP funds. So we're just asking you to authorize us to amend the ARPA budget to use the $28,000 for downtown holiday lights.
Nice.
Lights.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. I have two comments, one question, one comment.
Sure.
So, I know in one of the discussions I had, was like, nothing formal, but like the conversation with Bruce Buxton and Mary Devine, like to get a real like wow destination, come downtown and check out the decoration stuff, like the goal is 1 million lights. Let's get 1 million lights downtown. I did the math on the wreaths and it's 3,600 lights. So we're nowhere near 1 million. Not even close. We're a third of a percent of the way there. So,
We have more
That
ARPA
is-
dollars left.
well, how much would it
I wanna
cost?
spend it. I wanna spend it.
Bring them across the street. No, but then I support this, and we need new Christmas decorations downtown. They're falling apart. But this is, I have a small problem with it, even though I do support it, because those Christmas decorations were gifted to the city. By the Brainerd Restoration fundraised, bought them, handed them over to the city. They've found the end of their useful life, and instead of a nonprofit fundraising and gifting those to the taxpayers, we're now saying, taxpayers, you're on the hook to replace that just because we gave you a gift a generation ago. It's the same problem we have with the Memorial Park lights. It's a problem we have with a lot of issues in the cities, especially in our parks, where things were given to us or got built with grant money. Then at the end of its useful life, we just raise taxes on the citizens to replace it. And I don't like that philosophy. I do support this, and it is nice that we have the ARPA dollars, that it's not levy dollars going to it. But philosophically, I'm generally opposed to replacing with tax dollars what was donated to us at the end of its useful life. That's the end of that rant. Any other comments, Chair?
What category does this fall in under ARPA eligibility?
So we elected to do the general government,
Okay,
so it has to fall under the public purpose.
okay. Thank you.
And then Connie, if you want to go, one thing I didn't show is if you go to the wreath and swag selection, you can see they're squared there, that's the
Oh
wreath.
shoot, hold on. Operator error.
And then if you go down one, that's the wreath, and then the swag, they decided to go simple with just the bows.
Can I ask another question just on ARPA?
Yeah.
Can we utilize the leftover ARPA dollars to pay for our law enforcement wages?
It would be for public purpose and it would be for anything that we could, so yes,
Okay, so if we don't find other things with, does it go through 2024?
yes.
Then we could utilize it to pay for wages for our law enforcement or fire?
Yeah, we could have done that from the start.
Yes.
Pay everything except for
It would have freed up.
wrongful termination laws. Unfair labor practices, as it were. Okay, all in favor of amending the ARPA budget, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign, that motion carries. We're adjourned, we have 5 minutes to get upstairs.
Nicely done, Mr. Chair.